This is his first Milwaukee race of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He started on the pole. And Kurt Busch now a half-mile away from becoming the 24th driver to win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. In only his 14th start, rookie Kurt Busch wins in Milwaukee.
Oh, that looks sweet, dude!
Kurt Busch gets the win. Tolsma finishes second. Biffle denied in his efforts to win 4 straight, comes home third. Steve Grissom a strong fourth.
Kurt, you got to take her to the victory circle, okay?
Houston is fifth, and you see Biffle come over. His corporate teammate just kind of give him a playful shove there. Look at that.
Series rules require we end with a green flag, white flag the next time by, and then the checker. You can't end this race under caution. So here's the green. Kurt Busch leads Mike Wallace and Randy Tolsma. They've got a big jump on the field down at turn 1.
Here comes Mike Wallace. The tires are cool right now. He's doing everything he can. No contact as they start off. Kurt Busch gets a great run down the back straightaway.
Tolsma was with them in turn 1, but they've left him by turn 3. It's a 2-truck race.
At least Tolsma doesn't have Biffle right on his bumper the way they did before the caution came out.
White flag, 1 lap to go.
If Mike Wallace has anything, he has to show it right now, and I do believe Kurt Busch has a better truck. But here he comes on the inside.
Whoa, they make contact. He almost spins. Wallace has to get out of the gas.
And here comes Tolsma. Tolsma's got to run. Down to the inside. Wallace blocks. They hit each other, and that gives Busch clear track.
Here comes Biffle on the outside. He's making a move. Cannot do it. Gets up in the loose stuff. Falling back. Andy Houston side by side with Biffle.
And they touch and scrambled, and Kurt Busch wins.
It's over. And everybody ran into everybody, but the leader couldn't. Kurt Busch. He wins his second Craftsman truck race in a row. And for truck owner Jack Roush, 5 consecutive victories. 6 of the last 7 races have been won by a Roush Racing Ford.
And that lets you know why Jack Roush has the confidence to move this guy all the way up if he does get that Winston Cup ride next year.
I don't know, either Mike Wallace right now, his truck is coming in, he's a little bit better than Busch, or Busch is just laying back waiting for one more run. Just relax, wait for one more run to get up on that steering wheel and see what he can do. Up in 3 and 4 seems to be with a spot that Busch is quicker than Mike Wallace.
At the line, the 99 is quicker so far. You can see how far back Biffle and Crawford are. They're 5 seconds off this battle for the lead. It looks like it's going to go down to these 2. But boy, you're right, BP. There's still a lot of traffic out there, despite the fact we've had a total of 9 trucks go behind the wall.
The one truck, Dennis Setzer, who runs so well at Mopar Dodge, in jeopardy of going a lap down.
He is in 10th right now. Dennis Setzer. This time by, or last time by, Greg Biffle was the quickest at the line. So now we have 9 trucks on the lead lap. And here's more traffic. That is Ricky Hendrick right in front of him. Ricky is 12 laps down in 25th, and he is moving over.
And Kurt Busch almost caught the wall off turn 4. Enough that time he had to back off the throttle to avoid that wall. But now he's catching Busch. Mike Wallace, as he comes off the corner, Wallace did not catch Ricky Hendrick at exactly the right spot, had to back off, which allowed that 99 throw, and Busch almost lost it in turn 3. The left front caught the apron and really loosened him up.
He drops back about 2.5 truck lengths.
Don't you love to see these guys giving it everything they've got, trying to win?
Kurt Busch, Mike Wallace. These guys have had a bit of a history this year. There's the battle for 5th right now. McMurray and Houston, they've got action going as well. On board with Andy Houston. Look at the traffic. There's Joe Ruttman slowing in the pack. And somehow Wallace gets around.
And somehow Kurt Busch also made it through there.
For Mike Wallace, his 2 victories came at Daytona first race of the season in Mesa Marin. For Kurt Busch, his came at Milwaukee and at Loudon. Somebody is going to win their third race of the season. We've got 5 laps to decide this one.
Marty Houston, the 75 truck, in the 8th spot, about to go a lap down. Mike Wallace gets a run. He's getting on the inside.
And Marty Houston does go a lap down. That means 7 trucks on the lead lap. The next victim is the 52. Whoa, and Wallace. You don't think these guys are hanging it out?
Man, oh man.
The only 2 trucks that are running in the 24-second bracket, and you're looking at both of them.
Man, this is so good. Right on, pushed him down the back stretch, literally pushing him.
Bump draft all the way.
And look at Mike Wallace's truck wiggle just a little bit when he gets up right on that tailgate. Like Dave Burns said, he's getting him a little loose.
This time by
and he's in the
3
wall.
laps to wall. Now there's contact. Wallace spinning around, lights the tires up, keeps it off the wall.
But the caution flag is out. Oh, man.
Now remember, we do not end under caution in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Stay up, let him go, let him get their laps back. Let him go, underneath you.
This is our 4th here in the 2000 campaign. We do not end under caution, so we'll go around a green, then a white flag, then the checkered. So on lap 201, here goes Kurt Busch, right in front of his Killer Bee teammate, Greg Biffle. Rick Crawford is in 3rd, but right now not close enough to have any effect. This time by it'll be the white flag. Can Busch pick up his 3rd victory of the year 2000, or will it be Greg Biffle picking up victory number 6?
I would think at this point that Biffle would try anything to try to take the win away, because right now he's in fabulous position to try to win a championship. As I say that, he closes up right on the tailgate.
For Biffle, he is going to finish in the top 5 for the 15th time in 16 races. For Kurt Busch, he's going to start his first Winston Cup weekend with his 3rd career victory in his rookie season. Crawford 3rd, Andy Houston 4th, Kenny Schrader 5th. And there is a very happy Exide 4th crew. We'll talk to the winner when we come back to Victory Lane here at Dover Downs. His other victories this year came at Milwaukee, Loudon, and Dover. He had 5 second-place runs as well. And the 22-year-old from Las Vegas is going to take the white flag one more circuit. About 41 more seconds of racing left in the 2000 season of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Whoa! He got loose, Benny. Coming out of turn 2, big wiggle on the Exide 4. That got his attention.
Wow, on the last lap. And now Houston and these guys, it's almost like a shark. They can smell problems. Was it just getting loose, or did he have a flat tire? Does he have a tire going down?
Through turn 3 and 4, Kurt Busch coming out of the turn 4. There's Andy Houston. The time is running out, and we've got a crash on the backstretch as Houston tries to close the gap. Kurt Busch is going to win for the 4th time, setting a record for a rookie in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He says farewell and heads to the Winston Cup campaign in 2001 by closing out with another win.
Kurt Busch leading Jimmy Spencer. So Rudd now at 3rd, leads our Cook family of drivers. Kyle Petty, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Burton in the top 10. And Tony Stewart will get credit for that finish, whatever Todd Bodine is able to muster.
Well, Todd looks pretty good now. They got new tires on the car for him, and he's driving.
We got a change for the lead right here. Jimmy Spencer. He's down the bottom of the racetrack right here. They got Hermie Sadler out there, number 2 car. Break and get in the corner right here, Darrell. Right around the bottom.
Got to let him go. Got to fall in behind him. Try to pass him back down here somewhere.
Clear.
Come back under him sometime, but just let him go right now.
Whoa, he hit him.
Go.
Busch got under him and muscled Jimmy Spencer. You don't see that often.
Spence is hanging on for dear life.
Get it up. You're right. Outside.
Big save by Spencer.
Message received.
Outside. Still out there.
You see him wiggling the car back and forth, Darrell. He got down on the apron, picked up all that trash on those hot tires.
He's just hoping he didn't cut a tire down in that contact.
Now, Sterling Marlin probably could have passed Spencer right there, but they are teammates, and Marlin's a lap down. Here it is again.
Like I said, get back up under him, and There he goes.
Many guys will save a car like that.
Ooh, a bumper for a bumper.
And not many guys would go up against Jimmy Spencer like that. You just think you let Spence go.
2 to go, man. 2 to go. Bring it home.
2 to go. Bring it home.
He probably won't catch the lap traffic ahead.
Oh, he's fine. He can draft. Just do a little drafting right there.
Bail out, Mike Joy.
White flag.
Oh, I got a job, boys.
All right. He's already celebrating. Don't say anything yet. Get it on around here.
1 to go, man. Looking awesome. Looking awesome. 1 to go.
Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvan, Elliott Sadler, Rusty Wallace, and now Kurt Busch is a first-time Winston Cup winner at Bristol. Jimmy Spencer a car length ahead of Ricky Rudd for second.
Good car. Good car.
In his 48th start, Kurt Busch gets his first win. It's only his third race at Bristol and his first top 20 finish here. And he becomes the 5th winner in 2002 in 6 races. Kurt Busch has worked his whole Winston Cup and his whole racing career to get right here into a Winston Cup victory lane. Second win this year for Jack Roush. Yep. Matt Kenseth at Rockingham. Kurt Busch at Bristol.
What did he tell us? He's 23 years old?
I think that's right.
23 years old. Won him a Winston Cup race.
Not bad.
Jimmy Fennig's 17th victory as a crew chief. 14 with Mark Martin and 2 with Bobby Allison at the Stavola Brothers team. And for the 2nd straight year, this race has been won by a first-time winner. For the 2nd straight year, there's a banging and collision on pit road post-race.
It's just Bristol. What can you say?
It's just Bristol.
We're going to have a holding area.
Matt Yoakum.
And the 23-year-old gets the big handshake finally from his veteran crew chief, Jimmy Fennig. Curry, as more Gatorade comes in. You have dreamed about this for a long time, my friend. Congratulations, you finally reached it. What's it feel like?
This is unreal. This is absolutely unbelievable. I just have to thank the whole Jack Roush organization for making that swap, giving me Jimmy Fennig, Sean Parker, this whole group of guys. This was awesome. We had pit strategy. I don't know why the 8 pitted, and Jimmy Spencer forgot about what he did to me at Phoenix last year. This was an awesome run for Rubbermaid. Sharpie on the car, $1 million offer. You can't get any better than this. This is Bristol. Hopefully come back in the fall race and do a double at the Sharpie 500.
Now those tires must be worth $1 million because you went 157 laps. Were you concerned at all?
I saw Ed Sadler do it here last spring. These tires last forever. Goodyear brought some good stuff that just keeps lasting. Jack brought the engine that keeps lasting. This was what it's all about, a team effort. It's just, this is it, it's victory lane. Woo!
Then another handshake by Jimmy Fennig. Steve Burns, 162 laps on one set of tires last year for Elliott Sadler. This year, 157 for a new first-time winner here in Bristol.
86,000 at Martinsville today, all on their feet as we get to these final laps. 9 to go. Benson trying to close in. He's never won a Winston Cup race in 223 tries. Kurt Busch trying to pick up his 2nd career victory. He did it on the half mile at Bristol back in the spring of this year. Today he started 36th. He's trying to finish it off. He took the lead at lap 389. Steve Parks, 16th place car, last on the lead lap, next ahead. There's a lot of traffic there, Benny.
Oh, there's so much traffic there. And which line do you take? Park, let's Kurt Busch go on the outside. That's an advantage for him.
And still Benson stalks.
Kurt just can't pick the wrong lane here with 7 to go.
I mean, if he picks the wrong lane for a slow car, he is going to run second. Harvey very nicely moves over, let both those guys go by.
5 laps to go when they come back around. A season of frustration for Johnny Benson and his team. Sat out 5 races due to injuries, 10 finishes in the 30s. Desperately wants his first Winston Cup win. He's finished second before in his career. That won't mean much. 2 second-place finishes in his past. He wants the W.
Todd Bodine right in front of these cars. Which line is he going to take? Is he going to make the 97 go to the inside? Yes, he does.
Oh, he's leaning on him.
Contact, leaning on him.
Here comes Benson. Don't forget, Bodine was put on probation by NASCAR this week for the rest of the year.
And right now, the 97 car seems to be slow. He could not get off that corner. The 26 drove away from him. And now the only choice he has to run to the inside, try to block the inside.
I said Johnny Benson doesn't like contact in his racing. Will he want that first win enough to use the bumper on Kurt Busch and move him out of the way?
No, he won't.
That's James Ince, the crew chief, talking to Johnny Benson. Kurt Busch wide. Benson tries to cut low.
He's there. Benson is there. But not quite.
But where's he going to... Oh, contact there. No, I don't think it was contact. Kurt Busch just got sideways getting into the corner.
The white flag will be up when they come back. The Ryan Newman car going a lap down in 15th place. Final lap in Martinsville. Half mile to go. Is it win 2 for Kurt Busch or the first victory for Johnny Benson?
Well, Kurt's got nobody in front of him right now, so I know that he's probably a little bit happy about that.
He got away from him off 2. Final shot, final corner. Benson can't get close enough. Winston Cup win number 2 for Kurt Busch. He takes the Old Dominion 500.
Guys, awesome. Boys, that was an awesome stop. I need a water and some towels.
Oh, that was your winner, Kurt Busch.
Wore out. And Rudd did get 3rd place.
He started 36th. Kurt Busch coming from farther back in the field than any driver ever has to win at Martinsville Speedway, and farther back than anyone has to win so far this 2002 season.
Caution for rain. Coming back to the caution flag. This could be the finish of the green flag racing today. Kurt Busch is out in front looking to make it back-to-back victories. He'll cleanly get off turn number 4 to the caution flag. Watch the rest of the charge to the yellow. Stewart will come to the stripe 4th. .242 laps in of 325 scheduled. Caution for rain.
Big drops here, boys.
Yeah, you think, Kurt? Back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Napa 500 under the caution flag for rain. 246 of the 325 scheduled laps are complete, and we're thinking we're not going to see too many more laps.
I mean, rain might have won because it is starting to come down pretty doggone heavy, as you can see under the lights there.
We're pretty lucky we got it this far.
Yes, we are.
All right, the word's just gone out. When they come to the stripe this time, they'll show them the white flag. And this race is going to end in just 2 more laps behind the pace car. Reason being, the racetrack has gotten wet. They would have to put the track drying equipment out. It would take too long to get that all done.
It's about we can see how hard it's raining as we see the Kurt Busch pit crew, Jack Roush sitting there, all the Roushketeers getting wet.
It's more rain on the radar, and we've probably got more in than we should have of this race today. So 248.
Don't forget you got 1 more, the big one.
Don't forget, Kurt, run 1 more lap.
Good job today, man. Thanks, Kinzer. Appreciate it, buddy.
Going to come up at 382 miles of the scheduled distance today. And how about this young kid? Talked about it earlier, BP, just a couple of years ago, was working for the water utility in Las Vegas.
Man, and here he is, won 2 NASCAR Winston Cup races in a row. The winner last week at Martinsville, a half-mile, 12-degree bank. He comes here to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles, quad oval, 24-degree bank. Doesn't make any difference to this kid.
And he's got a younger brother coming up through the ranks. They say is every bit as good.
That was so young he couldn't run NASCAR touring races this year. Had to go to a different division to race.
Kurt Busch is going to clinch the Manufacturers' Championship for Ford in 2002 with their victory today. Their third Manufacturers title in the last 4 years. He's going to keep Joe Nemechek and Dale Jarrett out of victory lane. For Tony Stewart, a big day in the championship as he's going to finish fourth. And his pursuers, Mark Martin, will be the closest of them today, and he'll finish in 8th. Checkered flag is up. A little bit shy of the scheduled distance, but it counts nonetheless. Kurt Busch takes his third victory of 2002. He wins the Napa 500.
There you have it, Kurt. You're the man.
Those guys were a big part of it today. They cranked off some great pit stops.
Yes, they did.
Next time the white flag waves for leader Kurt Busch.
As you see, the white flag is waving on this field.
It's the final lap of the 2002 season. Tony Stewart, 1.5 miles from a NASCAR Winston Cup championship. Kurt Busch is out in front of the race, looking to pick up his 4th victory of the season. 3 of those will come in the last 5 weeks of the year. Put Kurt Busch on your calendar as a Winston Cup title contender for 2003. Checkered flag is up. The Ford of Roush Racing wins the Ford 400. Kurt Busch is the winner at Miami.
In the last 8 Winston Cup races, Kurt Busch has been running at the finish at 6 of them. 3 wins, 3 seconds are those 6 finishes.
Boy, Brett, he's catching the 18 car, but I just don't believe he's going to have time, Larry.
3 to go, 3 laps to go.
Jack Roush looking for his 4th win at Bristol. 2 for Mark Martin, 1 for Kurt Busch. Last year's here.
Plus, you got to think Elliott Sadler was in a, in a pretty much a Roush car when he won here too.
Roush powered car, the Wood Brothers. That's right.
Kurt Busch has almost a second lead on leader Matt Kenseth. Be white flag next time by.
Clear, clear. White flag right here. White flag. Smooth, man.
Half a lap to go for Kurt Busch.
Yeah, he's got her own cruise control.
1 lapped car won't be a factor. 2nd straight Food City 500 win for Kurt Busch.
Matt Kenseth finished 2nd, Bobby Labonte 3rd, Ricky Rudd 4th, Greg Biffle 5th, Sterling Marlin 6th, all lead lap cars.
And Kurt Busch becomes the 6th different winner of 2003.
2 good battles as we close in. White flag trouble. It is Martin sliding across the grass, and it's Johnson in the wall. Jimmy. Caution is out.
No, the white flag's out. You got to race back. You cannot slow down.
Now, Jimmy Johnson's car wadded up in the wall. They've got to race to the line. The leaders did not get the yellow, did they?
No, on the last lap, you race back.
In Rusty Wallace and Bobby Labonte, they're side by side down the backstretch. This is a battle for 2nd. Kurt Busch entering turn 3 right now.
Jimmy Johnson gets his car off the wall and out of harm's way.
Mark Martin's in the middle of the grass here right at the start-finish line, but this will be the race right here. Kurt Busch coming off turn 4, Mike.
Yeah, but here comes Bobby Labonte under Rusty. Rusty drove it in there hard, shoved up. Labonte's going to beat him to the line.
6th career win for Kurt Busch. And a near photo finish at the line, Labonte for 2nd.
And how about Bill Elliott finishes 4th, Jamie McMurray 5th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes 6th, and Michael Waltrip 7th.
No pressure. We'll be coming to the white flag this time by. Coming to the white.
Kurt Busch's crew chief, Jimmy Finney.
And that's a beautiful thing, man. No pressure, coming to the white, and you're pulling away.
Jeff Gordon went to the high side in 1 and 2 and gained some ground on Bobby Labonte that time.
He's going to do it again in 3 and 4, Mike. And look at Matt Kenseth on the bottom. He may get 2 positions here. He got a heck of a run in the middle of 3 and 4. White flag this time pulls up beside the man he's battling in the points, Dale Earnhardt Jr. White flag side by side.
Junior's giving him nothing.
Boy, and Michael's right there with them too. I mean, that's a great. That's going to get interesting down here in turn 1.
Junior takes Kenseth right downstairs.
I think Michael's going to get a run on both of them right here. Nah, he can't quite fall. He's going to get by Junior.
Oh, Junior had to back up.
He pushed up off the 2 over there and had to get up out of the gas. Happens all the time.
And Michael had the draft from Kenseth rather than being up behind his teammate. The low line was working better for him.
Yeah, Junior's going to go from 4th to 7th.
Oh, trouble back straightaway. A lot of smoke car around. I think it's Mike Wallace. Here we come to the flag. Checker is out. Kurt Busch will celebrate Ford's century of Ford Motor Company with a victory at Michigan.
Bobby Labonte second, Jeff Gordon third, points leader Matt Kenseth the fourth, and Michael Waltrip with his fresh tires finishes fifth.
Sterling Marlin is sixth, and Dale Jr. seventh.
Yeah, another good top 5 for Michael. I tell you, he's just hanging tough in those points, guys.
Kurt Busch down to his final couple of circuits around Bristol, looking for his 4th win of 2003. You know, we said it before, but it is worth repeating. What a week it's been, and what a way to try and get things back on track where your racing is concerned. All the off-track items have been a distraction, but he's come out tonight and put it all aside and driven a very hard race. Final corner, and we'll see what kind of reception he gets in victory lane. It's checkered flag number 4 for 2003. Kurt Busch takes the Sharpie 500 at Bristol.
McMurray hung on. The third spot.
I always say you stick a bar on me. I'll do it for you any day.
Kurt's thoughts to his race team.
It'll be green, white, checker. Here we go.
Rusty tried to anticipate that start.
He did a really good job. You better block him. Better block him.
Kurt Busch gets a good run off turn 2, though, Darrell. He pulls him by 1 car length, lap and a half to go.
Rusty had the bumper right there in turn 1, but Busch is driving away.
And right now, Rusty Wallace, white flag. He'll have his hands full with Kevin Harvick in that 29 car on those fresher tires. Kurt Busch pulls away by another car length down the backstretch.
Kurt Busch running. Oh, McMurray slides up the racetrack off Kenseth's bumper. Checkered flag, Kurt Busch.
Man, I think Matt Kenseth in the 17 kind of drop kicked Jamie McMurray in the 42 car.
And here comes McMurray, and there goes the 30 around. And here comes McMurray up here looking for the 17.
And after the flag, Sauter came down and ran in the back of somebody.
Here we go. And the line will start to form.
I told you, though,
office. Here he comes. He's still got him. He's mad. Turkey, you.
And he turned him around down on apron. You're right.
And who did Johnny Sauter get down in turn 1 after the flag?
I think he was just trying to get slowed down. Somebody run into him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile.
And you know, Kurt Busch has got to be a pretty happy young man right now. He won this race, and I don't think anybody's mad at him.
And I think he's going to do a display of burnouts for everyone here. He's already done it on the front stretch. Now he's down in turn 1 and 2.
Jeff is right on the bumper of the 97 car right there.
All right, here we go.
He drove it in pretty hard, but car cut for him.
Ryan Newman trying to stay up on Jeff Gordon.
Two laps next time by.
Gordon's creeping up on him a little bit there through the center.
Now, if there's a caution in this lap, there will be a green-white checker. But if they can get back to the line, take the white flag, this race is over.
Kurt Busch is doing a good job right now. He's not overdriving the car. He's where he wants to be. He's making it real tough for Jeff Gordon.
Behind the leader, Tony Stewart tried Matt Kenseth for 4th, couldn't do it. And they go single file. And here they come to the white flag. So Kurt Busch with 1 more lap to go to try and hold off Jeff Gordon for the win. We're on the final lap in New Hampshire. Stewart tries Kenseth for 4th, and Gordon not able to stay up with Busch.
Stewart trying everything again.
Oh,
that was close.
Little contact coming off the second corner.
McMurray inside of Michael Waltrip there. That'll be for 6th and 7th places. It's been a struggle over the late spring and early summer for Kurt Busch. No more. He wins today at New Hampshire International Speedway. A couple of car lengths over Jeff Gordon, his 2nd win of the season. Ryan Newman
feel good.
Dominated a lot of the day. He gets 3rd.
Awesome job.
Well, it should feel good.
Yeah, no, he did a good job.
Did a terrific job. Had a terrific race car. So Jimmy Fink and those guys did a great job today, Dave.
Real proud. This is our kind of track.
Jeff Gordon there, the gap from him back to Elliott Sadler as they race into these final few laps. Kurt Busch already crossed the stripe for 3 to go. Now 2 to go as he comes past, and the white flag will be next time for Kurt Busch. Going to be a dominant day if he can hang on for this next lap and a half. He'll have led 155 of the 300 laps today. Maximum points.
Next year, we got to make him start last. That's all there is to it. When you sweep a racetrack in the season, next year you got to start last.
And a white flag. Final lap at New Hampshire for Kurt Busch.
I think the big advantage for these guys was that nobody did get practice. Nobody could tune their cars in, and these guys had a great race car, so they didn't have a whole lot to do.
Even though he led 110 laps and won the race in July, his crew chief Jimmy Fennig told me this morning they weren't satisfied with the car. They thought other people will have caught up to them since then. They made some changes based on their experience and their knowledge, and obviously they were the right changes to have made. As Kurt Busch sees the checkered flag and begins his chase for the Nextel Cup with a victory. Matt Kenseth second, 2.5 seconds behind. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will finish third. Casey Kane and McMurray rounding out the top 5. While Ryan Newman will finish 33rd. Tony Stewart 39th, and Jeremy Mayfield 35th. Maximum points on the day for Kurt Busch and his team. Marty?
So far, and they're getting ready to come into some heavy traffic, and that could really help Michael because Kurt Busch doesn't like to go high. He gets hung up behind one of these lap cars here. That could open the door for that outside.
Half a second separate the leaders with 2 laps to go. That's Mike Bliss just ahead. And Michael Waltrip this close to the lead.
Yeah, Mike Bliss in the 0 car. He's trying to stay.
Oh, Michael's got trouble. Oh, he got it too high.
One more coming to the white here. 43's coming hard. Just bring it home. 1 more lap to go. 1 more lap.
He just drove it in turn 3 way too hard. He got up in the loose stuff with him. That was kind of a last-ditch effort.
Waltrip should be safe in second place. Jeff Burton is 8 seconds back.
Kevin Harvick, 29 car, has problems.
And he will drop from 9th place. Off turn 4. Kurt Busch, the defending series champ, gets his 12th career win. The 5th win at Phoenix for car owner Jack Roush, and Busch's first victory of the season.
Guys are the best.
Michael Waltrip second. Jeff Burton in the 31 car. You heard him. Ends up third. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 4th. Brian Vickers 5th. Bobby Labonte 6th. And how about Carl Edwards up to 7th?
Yeah, he passed Kyle Busch with a lap to go to climb to 7th. Kyle is 8th. Johnny Sauter, great run, 9th place. Joe Nemechek 10th. And Kevin Harvick will limp around and be the last car on the lead lap in 19.
A lot of cars needed good runs. They got good runs tonight.
12 times in his career now, Kurt Busch has led 100 or more laps in an Nextel Cup race. Tonight he led 219. And for the 6th time, make that the 7th time in those 12 races, he is going to victory lane.
From Carl Edwards, last lap. Newman and Edwards battle. Busch trying to pull away. Wallace looking for a 2nd place finish. Newman under Edwards. But Carl hangs on. Newman continues with the clinic. Here comes Stewart. Stewart's got a head of steam right there. And his teammate Bobby Labonte behind him. Caution is out. That will decide it. Kurt Busch is the race winner. One attempt at the green-white checkered finish. The caution comes out. Kurt Busch will come back and get the checkered flag under the caution. As soon as the caution comes out, the field is frozen. They are on the track, not by scoring loop, but by visual sightings and by TV cameras around the track. There was no question here, though. Kurt Busch was the leader.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome job, Kurt Busch. Awesome.
And Kurt Busch takes the checkered flag at Pocono. Outstanding runs for Wallace and Martin. Edwards from the back of the field to 4th. Newman gets a top 5.
You're awesome. Engineer, you're fitting in. Great job, everybody. Brickhouse, you the man.
They battled through a tough day last week in New Hampshire, got a second-place finish. Come here at Pocono.
Well, they got to be looking forward to Indianapolis.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Kurt Busch, 2 to go. Well, he lost by a razor-thin margin to Mark Martin in the IROC race here on Thursday. Mark beat him just coming off a 4. But he was just thrilled with how he ran that night. He's going to be extra happy with tonight. White flag, last lap of the race to the chase. Down the backstretch. Kurt Busch, the defending series champion, locked into the chase for the Nextel Cup, is going to take the checkered flag. Kurt Busch wins at Richmond.
Good job, guys. Good job.
And Ryan Newman.
Hear that relief?
Makes the chase for the championship. Kurt Busch. Started 5th tonight, his 6th short track win. th victory in his Nextel Cup career, and the 11th win for Roush Racing in 2005.
There's no question in my mind that when we came here, first of all, that Harvick loves Bristol, and second of all, you put Kurt Busch in that 2 car, you're going to have a winning combination.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Kurt Busch in the 2 made up a lot of ground. Matt Kenseth was trapped behind Dale Jarrett in the 88 car at the end of the backstretch. About 3 car lengths back, Kurt Busch in the 2 with 12 to go.
Yeah, he's got to go hard, Larry. 400 and only 12 chances left.
And right there, boom, that's where he beats him, right in the middle of the corner, Kurt Busch in the 2.
The good news for Kurt Busch is that he won't have no pressure from behind, so he can work on Kenseth here without being pressured by Kevin Harvick, who's several car lengths back.
And Dale Jarrett in the 88 car out in front of him, he's still on the lead lap fighting to stay there.
10 to go this time.
The 17 car looks like it's getting loose off the corner, and Kurt's car looks like it's pretty solid right now. That little diamond move right there, I like that little move. Let her run up a tad in the center and then drive under.
Busch is there with 9 laps to go.
Can't drive in too hard. You'll just slide the nose. Got to back off early and drive under.
And Darrell, what Matt Kenseth has done, he has slowed the speed of that car down to do whatever he has to do to run the bottom, stay on the bottom of the racetrack.
It's so easy. You get so excited. You start racing it hard. You start driving in the corner harder and harder, and you lose time.
8 to go.
Their lap times have slowed down half a second.
Well, if they're not careful, what's going to happen is the 29 and the 24 are going to put pressure on Kurt Busch, which means he's got to put pressure on Matt Kenseth, and that's when we're going to have a problem. How about it, Matty?
DW, they just told him the 29 of Harvick is 5 cars back. We've got to go now.
And guys, I just saw Matt Kenseth down the front stretch waving his hand like Dale Jarrett, get out of the way. We're coming down to the end of this race, and you're holding me up right now.
Yeah, I know Dale Jarrett, but Dale he's not racing anybody. Only thing he's doing right now is holding up the leader, and he's not doing anything wrong, but he can get out of the way. Well, right there is where that 2 car flies into the corner, but can't quite get off with Kenseth.
No, Kenseth is easy into the corner and quick on the throttle. Busch
5 to go, and
there
he goes.
And the 29, Kevin Harvick's going to go by him as well.
It's not over.
Yeah, but there's no question about what happened there. I mean, the 29 was coming, and the 29 is still coming.
4 to go.
And now Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, he's all over the back bumper of Matt Kenseth in the 17.
I think that the 29 said, oh, you did that to Mr. Kenseth? If I can get to you, just like he said yesterday, if I could have got to your brother.
But what if Harvick can get to Busch? Will it be boot, scoot, and boogie too?
That's what I say. I think Harvick would be more than obliged to give Mr. Busch a little shot.
2.5 laps to go.
Busch has got to run. He's got no place to hide.
He better hope that the 88 car keeps going like he was and not hold him up.
2
to go. 2 to go.
Traffic is going to really, it's going to be a big factor here.
They're starting to stack up in front of our leader, Kurt Busch, in the 2 car.
They're going to come across the side. They're going to come across the start-finish line sideways and backwards.
Lap car McMurray out of the way. White flag.
Jeff Gordon just got by Matt Kenseth for 3rd space. Harvick's there. He's there.
Oh, and look at this. The 24 just went around. And here comes the 29. Can he get to him?
We're still green.
Still green. Still green. Busch wins it.
Woo! Man, I'm glad it raced so with.
Harvick 2nd. Jeff Gordon, who spun out over on the backstretch. Kenseth will end up in 3rd. Carl Edwards 4th. Bobby Labonte in the 43 car 5th.
What happened to Gordon? I was watching the lead.
17 took him, got him. We got to go back. Oh, yeah, that's probably not very happy right there either.
Matt Kenseth denied the win by the bumper of Kurt Busch.
But, Darrell, it was less than 10 laps to go. Kurt Busch was much faster than Matt Kenseth.
Well, and the 29, I mean, the 29's going to get up there and knock Kurt Busch out of the way if he doesn't go on by Matt Kenseth. So that's just Bristol, baby. Now, that's one thing I will say. That's just Bristol.
Jeremy Mayfield perhaps said it best. This is like spending 4 hours in a clothes dryer, and by the time you're done, somebody's lost a sock or two.
You know what I bet Kurt Busch is saying about that 17? I don't want to hear a peep out of him.
I guarantee you. Oh, look at this.
Snow angel.
Doing the snow angel. Oh, that's a cool move right there.
Something different.
Never seen that.
Very fitting for the weekend, though.
Yeah.
The Busch brothers sweep the weekend.
They like
Kyle
Bristol.
on Saturday, Kurt on Sunday.
My name's Busch, and I like Bristol.
It is Kurt Busch's 5th Bristol win, tying Jeff Gordon. His 15th career victory, 7th on a short track, boot scoot, and boogie.
Matt did a whale of a job not to spin that sucker out. But now he's frustrated, rightfully so, ever so slightly. Goodness gracious, it didn't even put a scratch on the 2 car.
Here comes Kurt Busch, though. White flag, 1 to go.
Menard brushed the wall.
One more.
Coming off turn 4.
Well, it doesn't matter what happens now. We've had our 1 attempt.
Now we've got Kevin Harvick and Scott Wimmer side by side. No longer Harvick will take the position. That was a battle for 8th right there.
Biffle gaining. He's really got to send it into turn 3. He's a car length and a half back. Not going to get there.
Nope.
Boy, Casey Mears is the one that drove it in there, and to no avail, though.
Kurt Busch wins the O'Reilly 300.
It's a pretty good hot rod those guys all sharing right there. Kurt, Ryan won 6 races in that car last year. Picked up right where it left off. And here comes brother Kyle up here to congratulate him. Hey, dude, nice job.
You ain't done bad for a rookie.
I like that.
Since this became the Busch Series in '82, Kurt is the 114th different winner.
Same to you, man. Good job.
And this number 39 team has now won 7 of their last 10 races.
With a little different driver, a little different crew chief this win.
Our Red Lobster catch of the race. Kurt Busch catches his first checkered flag in his first Busch Series start.
You see the graphic says 3 to go, be 2 to go when they get the green flag. Pace car now will dive to pit road. Kurt Busch, the race leader. Robbie Gordon runs second. 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Hold your breath as they head for 1. Watch Robbie try and close up on the bumper of Busch.
You see some gaps between these guys right now. They're trying to anticipate the start, and here we go. Boy, and Kurt got a great race start. That may have been the difference. That's all you need. Get into 1 clean.
Remember, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, now Robbie's really chomping the bit because he knows he missed an opportunity on that restart.
But and he was all over Busch's bumper when the caution came out. Robbie makes up time in the inner loop. Watch this.
Hard on the brakes. I mean, you can see that car going from back. Look at that.
Right to him on his bumper.
tries to get underneath them. Now, Robbie's been a little bit better here than Kurt Busch.
Clear by half.
He's got to get a good run. If he gets a good run, not quite enough. Now he's got to get back on his bumper and set him up for turn 1. This is the most important set of corners right here.
White flag this time.
Boy, Kurt just looks so smooth right now. Not close enough.
But the bus stop will be a lot of fun.
It should be. Bobby may miss it this lap. He's going to drive in so deep.
Final lap for the NASCAR Busch Series at Watkins Glen, live on NBC. Kurt Busch leads Robbie Gordon.
Boy, Robbie got through the S's really good there.
Here comes the bus stop.
Here he comes.
Whoa! Oh, to the inside. Wow! Contact. They're through in the grass. And Kurt Busch comes out.
Unbelievable.
You got him. Nice job. Clear by 1.
That was some great car control on both of those guys right there. You knew it was coming.
Oh. You basically were right. Robbie didn't
He wasn't going to make it.
Coming up on the last turn of the last lap. Robbie trying hard for one more shot. He's not going to catch Kurt. Off of turn 7. Toward the start-finish line. Checkered flag in the air.
It doesn't get too much better than that.
Kurt Busch wins a wild one at the Glen. And McMurray made it home in 3rd. Second win for Kurt Busch in 6 Busch Series races. Won at Texas earlier this year in his first ever Busch Series race. Fourth time a Busch race here at Watkins Glen has been won by the pole sitter.
It has been 52 races since Kurt Busch has gone to victory lane. It was in Bristol, Tennessee back in March of 2006. He's been waiting a long time to see the white flag with him at the head of the field.
I tell you what, it's been a battle of the beer cars late in the race with Kurt Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Looks like the blue car is going to win that battle today. The Miller Lite car of Kurt Busch.
His car started on the front row. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the pole.
But boy, did Junior come back with that shock change. And boy, Jeff Gordon, he knows he's out of time. He's going to try to get all he can out of Denny Hamlin. This is the final lap.
Battle for 3rd spot. Gordon trying to get inside of Hamlin to take the spot away to have back-to-back 3rd place finishes in that car. He got 3rd at Indianapolis, but here's the guy who has been the one to watch all day long. Total domination for Kurt Busch. As he comes through the turn, it would be the 59th win for Roger Penske. And after a 51-race winless streak, Kurt Busch takes the win at Pocono Raceway.
Appreciate it, man. Awesome guys' job, man. Good job. Everybody.
Kurt, you are most welcome. Pat, thank you guys, everybody. Great job. Couldn't be prouder of you.
He becomes just the 2nd Dodge to win in 2007, joining Juan Pablo Montoya in the Ganassi Sabates car that won at Infineon. And the 14th different race winner here in 2007. Let's go down the channel. He is reeling in the 17 car that is for the 4th position.
And he's just got to stay working the top side of the track, guys. That's where he's been the strongest. And see him run up on the bumper of the 17. That's the only chance he's got. He just seems like he can't get it done on the bottom. And as Kurt Busch now is just driving off. Just that time, definitely quicker than Mark Truex that very last lap. So
Kurt Busch, a 28-year-old driver from Las Vegas, Nevada. He broke a 51-race winless streak at Pocono just 3 weeks ago. Kurt Busch comes down in dominating fashion and wins at Michigan. contact as they came across the line, pushing and shoving. Typical Michigan finish. Kurt Busch wins it, and Martin Truex finishes second for the second time at this racetrack this year.
That's part of the racing groove.
This is not what Kurt Busch wants. He does not want to have to race Robbie Gordon, who's a lap down very hard.
Yeah, Robbie's trying to get his lap back the hard way, and that's earn it. And I can tell you right now, Robbie's never going to give up.
Yeah,
and he
locked Robbie runs into the leader.
Yeah. He's just not going to. He's not going to give up. He locked the left front up, and
behind you. Keep going. Keep going.
Caution
and
is
he's
out
going to
at
get his
car in
lap
the
back
wall.
now.
It's Clint Boyer.
Take your time. Get a fired
Sam
up.
Hornish in the 77.
Boy, how things change in a hurry.
Wow.
They are bringing the field down pit road. And this would be for the humidity.
It's good, though, man.
I mean, look, you got Kurt Busch sitting there second. Busch is leading.
Right.
Michael is second. Yaley third. These are guys that made something out of a really bad day.
But
if this stays, they are going to be heroes.
Let's go down to Marty.
I think in Kurt Busch's world, this is a monsoon, my friend. It's raining pretty hard, isn't it, according to you?
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You know, the weather has been rainy all weekend. I saw the forecast, and I know Pat Tryson did as well. But, you know, we were on more of a fuel strategy, and in this day and age of fuel, saving fuel, this means a lot to us and what we've done with our jetting and getting our carburetors and getting the Penske power that we need, as well as the fuel mileage. But, you know, we might not be the fastest car. Maybe we didn't deserve to win, but the record books will show that we won the Lennox 301, and we're happy to put Miller Lite up front. But, you know, this isn't in the bag, and so we still got work to do.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not official yet, so let's not count those chickens before they hatch.
I mean, we had Robbie Gordon there on the inside, roughing us up. He had fresher tires, and I was like, "Go, just get going, get out of the way." And so now I've got to hold off guys that are on the same tires as we are. And that's what racing's all about. Sometimes it's strategy. It's not about speed.
Are you aware that something's dragging from the left rear of the car? Has anyone told you that?
No, I hadn't seen that.
A little duck hose, it looks like.
Looks like there's a car cover on there.
Brad Hutton's back there giving you a shot of it.
Oh, look, you guys are exposing it. All right, easy now.
No, but I mean, so no one told you about that, so you weren't worried about that?
No, I did have one light come on the dash, and it was rear end fan number 1. They said it was our rear brakes. So we haven't had rear brakes, all fans blowing on our rear brakes. So might have melted the bead on that hose. That's why it's hanging there.
All right, are you a good dancer? Can you do a rain dance for us so it'll continue to rain? Maybe you can get even to do that, right?
You don't want to see me dance, we'll give it to her. I'd rather quote Rain Man from the movie than dance.
All right, obviously Kurt Busch hoping that this one pours from here out, Ralph.
This race has ended. NASCAR has declared the race over. Kurt Busch is the race winner.
You know, and I disagree with what Kurt Busch says about, well, maybe we didn't deserve this. You win one of these races, I don't care how you win a cup race today, your team deserves it.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about strategy and we talk about all this stuff. You know, when you listen to Denny Hamlin, you listen to the 20 car, you look at the 48, you look at those guys that are in the top 12 in the chase. They have to be a little conservative to stay in the chase. These guys right here that are up front that won this race and stuff, they didn't have a snowball's chance today. They were going to run in 28th or 29th. 28th or 29th, they weren't going to get any points hardly. They had to gamble. This is big. I like to see stuff like this because it keeps people coming back week in and week out, because no matter how the race goes, you never know what's going to happen.
We got us a little shootout here, boys. A little shootout.
2 laps. Here we go. It's on.
Boy, Gordon got a good restart. He's going to pull to the high side. Kurt Busch shuts the door on him going into 1.
Boy, Kurt didn't get off to a real great start, but he's going right for that high line up off of turn 2. And he should be able to make the pass. Carl's going to try to slam the door. No way.
But look at Jeff Gordon in that 24 car. Carl trying to slide in between them. It's not going to work. White flag next time.
Harvick jumped up to 4th on the restart, but I think he's too far back. It's a 3-horse race.
That 2 car is not that good on the bottom, but he's got him enough lead. I think he's going to be okay.
1 to go.
That 2 car is just too strong for everybody today.
Looks like the battle's going to be for second. Carl Edwards fighting back, though, on the bottom.
On the bottom, you're clear.
Oh, Gordon's got a run. Here he comes.
Boys, Gordon got a great run. He side drafted off of Carl Edwards, and down the back we go.
Watch him. He's going to pack it down into turn 3. This 24 car. See if he can stick.
He can't do it. That Busch car is just on a rail today.
Versus Big Daddy Kurt Busch, Roger Penske win in Atlanta. 19th career victory for Kurt Busch, who started on the outside pole and gets his 3rd top 10 finish of 2009.
Those guys should be jacked up, baby, I tell you.
Great job. Thanks to 99 for racing the school.
Led 233 laps.
2nd win here for Kurt Busch. And in his 296 starts, it's the most laps he's ever led in one day. It's also the 7th Cup win for crew chief Pat Tryson.
Look at him.
His 4th with Kurt Busch.
He is pumped up.
Hey, there comes little brother. Say, nice job. Keep it in the family.
Okay, 3 to go. This time by for Kyle Busch. Can he make it? This is in that range that they didn't think they had enough fuel to make it.
They said they
I'm out. Coming to you. I'm out.
He's out. Okay, he's pitting.
He'll be on pit road. And what about Kurt now behind him? Kurt never pitted 2 laps later.
He's coming off of turn 2, so Kyle Busch has a long way to go.
So all the way down the backstretch for the guy who has dominated the day and led the race, trying to chase a little bit of history here at Texas Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch.
8 seconds, 2 to go.
Okay, that was Kurt Busch taking 2 to go at the line. He's headed into 1.
Remember, Kurt Busch pitted 2 laps later than did his brother Kyle, who was out of gas and on pit road.
Marcus Ambrose is up in that 2nd spot now, trying to nurse his home.
You see now Kurt Busch is just really pedaling that car now, trying to make this last lap. He's got 1 more lap to go. Now Marcus Ambrose is out of fuel.
White flag that time by.
Take care of it, bring it to the house.
Kurt Busch trying to milk it for 1 more lap. He has never won at Texas Motor Speedway.
And Kyle Busch still sitting on pit road, not able to get refired. Just barely rolling.
Kurt Busch's lone win in 2009 was on a 1.5-mile track, a sister track to this one at Atlanta Motor Speedway down in March. A year ago, Carl Edwards stretched the fuel mileage and won it here. And once again tonight, the fuel mileage works, and Kurt Busch will go to victory lane here at Texas.
Nice, great job out there. Woo! Way to go, guys! Awesome deal. How's the old tortoise versus the hare, baby? Woo! Yeah, baby, way to do it, baby. Way to save that gas, man. Great job, everybody.
They're still waiting on the 2nd place car to cross the line.
And Kurt Busch is running time trial laps. He doesn't have Kenseth on his bumper. The next flag ends the race.
All right. We're in the money lap now.
Menard holding a top 5 against Allmendinger, Vickers, and Biffle.
And he's holding a top 5 with only 2 fresh tires right now.
Kenseth closing the gap. Kurt Busch off turn number 4. Kurt Busch is going to win it for Roger Penske. The Blue Deuce goes to victory lane again in Atlanta. Clean and green finish. Finally.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Way to go, boys. Awesome pit stop. That is the way to do it. Woo!
They got this place dialed in, Larry. That 2 car does.
Well, it doesn't seem to matter who the crew chief, but I'm very happy for Steve Addington, the man that won 12 races with Kyle Busch. Things got a little sideways over there. Penske Racing picked him up when Pat Tryson decided to go to Michael Waltrip Racing, and now Steve Addington's back in victory lane.
When you got it, boys.
It is the 3rd Cup victory at Atlanta for Kurt Busch, his 2nd straight in the spring race and his 21st career Sprint Cup win.
This is when, if you're going to crash it, this is when you crash it.
Cash or crash, checkers or wreckers, 10 laps to go, $1 million plus to the winner.
I don't know if I told you this earlier. You might want to reach up here and pull your belts tight.
Yeah, just one more time.
Okay, Larry.
Denny Hamlin brings him off turn number 4. Kyle Busch alongside. Green flag. Here we go.
Boy, Joey Logano in the 20 took a look at the inside.
Mark Martin around. Martin gets hit and turned. Stewart tags him. Spins up to the wall. Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Jamie McMurray, and more. Ride with Tony Stewart.
We got a spinner. Stay left, stay left.
Excuse me,
inside, one inside.
Kurt Busch.
Watch him. Clear high. Keep digging, keep digging, keep digging.
Hamlin is good on the bottom, but that 18 is good on the top, and he blocks him. Oh, he put a block on him.
He put him in the wall.
He put him in the wall.
But he's not going to quit, but here comes the 48 and the 2 of Kurt Busch.
Oh, man.
And Logano.
And he thought his brother was rough on him.
And Hamlin almost gets the wall. Here comes Kurt Busch for the lead.
7 more, Kurt. Let's get it, baby.
How about that?
Leaderboard's the 2.
Johnson for second against Hamlin.
Boy, Kurt Busch just flew through 3 and 4 that last time, but here comes Johnson back in that 48 car.
Once they get singled out, Larry, the 48s, he'll get them. I guarantee he is bad. He's just too fast not to be able to.
Kurt Busch went from 5th to 1st in 1 lap.
How about that? The 56 car wins the showdown, and here it looks like if he can make it around one more time.
White flag.
And Tony Stewart in that 14 car has worked his way to 5th, working on 4th with the nose caved in on that thing.
Stewart's come out of nowhere.
No mistakes right here for that cool million.
9th try for Kurt Busch. He and Roger Penske and the Miller Lite Dodge are going to the bank. $1 million. Kurt Busch wins the Sprint All-Star race from Joey Logano. Or rather, Martin Truex, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Tony Stewart.
Roger Penske had a pretty good day, guys. Won the pole at Indy, wins the All-Star race tonight. The Penske weekend.
Brad Keselowski in that 12 car finished 7th, right behind Kevin Harvick in the 29.
Somebody said, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, they should put the winner of this race car tonight in the Hall of Fame, like they do at Daytona.
That'd be a great idea.
And if they did, it wouldn't be very pretty, but it would be there. You have to be white flags in the air, but you got to also be impressed with the 18 car, Larry. Overcome all the adversity they did, and he's sitting here, he's going to come home in 3rd place. That's an impressive run as well.
McMurray cuts it down to 87 hundredths. A big waggle off turn 4 last time. He is so agonizing close to giving Chip Ganassi the Memorial Day double.
Well, the old vortex theory, she worked in.
Because we just made a clean sweep of their checkbook.
Roger Penske prevails. Kurt Busch wins the Coca-Cola 600. Jamie McMurray, Kyle Busch, Mark Martin, David Rudem in the top 5. Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, Paul Menard, Ryan Newman, and Matt Kenseth, the top 10.
That's what I'm talking about. That was awesome, buddy. That was freaking awesome. I have never seen anybody drive a race car and be as smooth as you were and hang in there like that, dude, when we got off and everything else. I appreciate it, dude. You're the man, Steve. Everything went our way tonight. Everything went our way.
Kurt Busch becomes the 7th driver to win the All-Star race and the 600 in the same year.
On to the real victory lane in Charlotte. Woo!
Tell you what, though,
flag right here.
Coming to the white flag.
No pressure out the back.
Remember, it will happen if they're going to make the move on the back straightaway.
Hamlin locked on to Newman. Kurt Busch with Jamie Mack through turn 1 for the final time.
Here we go.
He's in your tire tracks. When you go, he's pushing.
Now it's go time.
There we go. They're looking. They're looking. Can't make it. Can't make it happen.
Newman, the runner-up in 2005.
Can't make it happen.
Has about 2,000 feet to the finish line to win the Bud Shootout for the first time. Hamlin low, Busch up high. Here they come, 3 wide to the stripe, and the winner is
3 wide.
Probably Kurt Busch, because Denny Hamlin went below the yellow line.
Yeah, that was definitely, he advanced his position by being out of bounds. There's no question on that one.
It is legal for Newman to run him down to the line, and Hamlin probably had one of 2 choices: go below the line or wreck Ryan Newman. Who will go to victory lane? That is the question NASCAR officials will decide for us. From the Goodyear blimp, let's have a look at the run to the checkered flag.
I mean, he is all the way below the line. The question is, would they deem that coming to the checkered flag and game on? And I've always thought on the last lap, when you can see the checkered flag, you do what you got to do.
The line is still a line, but Darrell, does Hamlin get the lead before he goes to below the yellow line? If so, he may be the race winner.
Yeah, it's hard to say about that.
And McMurray, he never came off the rear bumper of Kurt Busch in that 22 car.
Kurt Busch has won the Budweiser Shootout.
That would have been my call, but I'm you know, you never know.
First shootout win in his 8th start. We said earlier he's never won Daytona. Now he has.
He has never won a restrictor plate race of any kind.
Pretty good way to start a new relationship with a new car number, new paint job, and a winning attitude. And he's going to need
just leave me a little bit of quarter panel on that thing. I got to bring it back down here.
He might need a couple new tires.
Kurt Busch and Regan Smith, they've been the most potent of the drafting duos in this race, and they'll face the white flag this time.
I think what people are learning right here, right now, is that Regan Smith is a good guy to get hooked up with.
And Darrell, I don't think they have a choice but to stay like that till we get well off turn 4. I don't think they can start mixing it up too early.
Dinger through the middle. Allmendinger coming with Menard. Threads the needle, looking for 3rd place.
And look at Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart, but they have nowhere to go. They had a head of steam, had to back off.
Transfer spot, Elliott and Yaley ahead of Nemechek and Conway now.
What will Regan Smith do in that 78 car coming to the tri-oval?
I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to push, push, push.
Well, he's got enough room to look out and try to win it, but he's steaming along. It's going to be Kurt Busch.
Whoa, he looked, but he couldn't do it.
Oh!
You got it, baby.
He gave it a gallon effort.
He did. I was really surprised he even took a look, but the yay to him.
Kurt Busch is 2 for 2.
I don't think he would have dreamed he would be in the top 3 either. He just pulled to the outside. He gave Jeff plenty of room. I would have never believed when they dropped the green flag on this race that these two guys would be in the top 3.
Yeah.
These two that we're watching right here. After listening to Jeff
15 laps
Gordon,
ago, like I said, looking back at the monitor, Jeff Gordon was way back in the field.
Yeah, and complaining the whole time about not being able to turn into the corner. And as you said a minute ago, he was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack here towards the end.
And he's about a second faster than Kurt Busch is right now. He just doesn't have the time.
You know, I think this speaks volumes for this. We're on the final lap here. I think this speaks volumes for Carl too. He's focused on winning this championship. He had an opportunity to leave. He decided he would stay and work on this thing. Still didn't get it the way he wanted it, but he's driven it today.
I think he'll be
the
real
way
happy with this.
Yeah, the way a championship driver could drive a car, and he knows this is a big statement to the other guys. If I stick around and stay here, you're going to have to think about it.
Another name you may add to the list of those who are thinking championship, the driver who has been so consistent the last few weeks. Kurt Busch and the program really on the rise at Team Penske.
Incredible. So much was made out of Kurt Busch and things that went on early in the year, things that went on the radio, things that went on within that team. But you can say what you want to. He's passionate about driving a race car. He got those people up off their butt, and here he's getting ready to win.
Checkers this time.
3 poles in a row. Should have had 4.
Kurt Busch a winner at Infineon, first of 2011.
Incredible.
Carl Edwards, big jump today, all the way to 3rd.
Boyer in 4th, which I figured he would be a top 5, and Ambrose up there as well. And Logano.
Great run by Logano.
Yeah.
Jimmy Truex salvages something, comes back for 8th there. I thought Truex had a great car. And Brad Keselowski finishes in the top 10. Great run for him.
Man, Harvick's car got beat up early, and he comes back to finish in the top 10 as well.
That's the Kevin Harvick.
Guys, unbelievable. Appreciate it.
Never would have believed the first win for Kurt Busch would come this late in the season, and certainly not on a road course, a place he had never won before. But today he pulls it off.
Coming to the white flag. Kyle got up on the curve. That's going to hurt his exit speed there. Looked like he might have a shot at passing Jimmy down here going to turn 1. White flag. The next flag ends the race. Kurt Busch leading Jimmy Johnson 4 car lengths down the hill. He's got a good gap.
Yeah, Kurt Busch is in good shape right here. He just has to make sure that he doesn't overdrive getting into the inner loop right here. He should pretty much have things well in hand.
If he's got enough fuel, don't forget.
Right. And it doesn't blow up before he gets there. Saw that happen last week. Not with the Dodge. Ricky Stenhouse forward, so anything's possible here.
A run up the final straightaway and 2 last corners to the checkered flag. Jimmy Johnson not close enough as long as the fuel holds out. Underpowered and coming under the checkered flag. Kurt Busch wins it.
Dono was able to get by Kyle Busch off
there,
of that
buddy.
last
Good
point.
job with it. Awesome job, Kurt Busch. Awesome job.
Well, only 2 drivers led this race. They both have the last name. Older brother came out on top in this one. And Kurt Busch, talked about had a pretty good record in the Nationwide Series here. Added another win to it today. Steve Addington, crew chief for Kurt Busch on the left. There are some tense radio conversations as well as his driver has struggled to manage expectations and the reality of them working through the handling in the late laps of these races. Yet they came here to Dover this week. Kurt said, I've been a champ before. We can do this. Now they're 2 laps away from going to victory lane.
They're proving they can do it. They adjusted this car when it wasn't so good in the middle of the race, turned it around, and now looks like he's going to get this victory. 1 to go.
1 more mile, bud.
The only driver in the top 10 in the championship standings all season long. That man, Kurt Busch. Just the 1 win on the road course at Sonoma. But steady, solid. After finishing 22nd in New Hampshire a week ago to lose ground in the championship, they're going to gain it all back with a win on the Monster Mile today. Kurt Busch wins at Dover.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Look at the rest of the lead lap finishers, but it is Kurt Busch getting the jump on Jimmy Johnson on a late restart, hanging on through another restart and pulling away to score the victory, his 2nd of this season. And the win going to pull Kurt Busch up to 4th in the championship standings, only 9 points off the leader, Kevin Harvick.
Kurt Busch in heavy traffic now.
Yeah, this is going to get really interesting right now. You got to make the right moves right here and hope that somebody gives you a break.
Well, but the heavy traffic also, it might allow Denny to catch him, but it limits his room to pass him. You know?
Let him get to that bumper, though.
Yeah. It might open up a door somewhere that he wasn't expecting it also.
Jason Bowles bails out. Leaves the leader's room.
Outside.
Nice move there by the 81.
Good drive off right here by Hamlin.
3 to go. 3 outside 01. Clear.
This is going to be close.
Rotate that line straight off. Outside.
Right here's where Denny Hamlin is so good getting back to the throttle.
Oh, man.
See Kurt Busch driving it in a little bit further, but Hamlin able to get the drive off and close that gap.
Okay, it's just the 2 of them now. No traffic.
Coming to the white flag. Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin.
Oh, he got him loose right there.
Inside. Just hit your marks. White flag. 1 more. 1 more. You guys got nothing out back.
How rough will it get? Can Kurt hang with him? Joe Gibbs Racing's 18 with Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch in brother Kyle's 54. Here they come to the checkered flag. Who's it going to be? Hamlin sliding it sideways. Give it to Kurt Busch. Woo!
What a race.
What a finish.
Woo! Man, what a job by Kurt Busch to hang on the outside there.
That's two great drivers showing their talent.
There are 19 cars to settle it at Daytona. Watch Austin Dillon in the 3. Can he get hooked back up with Kurt Busch in the 1 to his inside in the draft?
Green flag, green flag. Hold your line, hold your line. Hold your
Busch going to make the move to try and get the lead himself. Jumps up in front of Joey Logano in the outside lane. Logano's not by him.
middle.
Contact.
Here comes Stenhouse to the back bumper of that 1. Going to try and push. Logano 18, Sadler 2. Here comes Dillon with Michael Annette's help in the 43. Joey Logano, winner of 2 of the last 3 restrictor plate races in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, will lead at the white flag. Will he lead at the checkered flag? 2.5 miles to go. Kurt Busch, big run to the outside, pushed by Ricky Stenhouse.
What is a huge run that Kurt Busch is making here.
separated.
Actually got separated with the 18 and the 2.
Dillon to the bottom. Annette's going to push him. Kurt Busch to the point. Half a lap to go.
It's like Dillon's going to have the momentum.
Where does Stenhouse pull out to try to make the move for the win, though? He doesn't want the 1 to win. If the 43 stays tucked up to the 3, they'll have a chance here.
And watch for the 6 to pull out and make a move to try and win it himself. Here they come. Checkered flag is in the air. Who's going to win it? Oh, trouble. Austin Dillon spins. Kurt Busch wins.
Beat you in victory lane, baby. Wait for me, boys. Great job, Kurt. Well, great job, Nick and crew.
Where do you begin with the story of Kurt Busch?
I mean, his car was destroyed at one point. They spent a ton of time on pit road making repairs.
I don't think anyone has ever doubted the talent that this Kurt Busch has driving these race cars. It's just incredible what he can do, the position he gets himself in, and just amazing. Take that car. I don't even know how it's still got water in the engine.
Yeah, the engine.
Make enough power to win.
Kind of forgot about that. I know this means a ton to James Fish winning Daytona. Congratulations.
Think about the story of Kurt Busch, what the last 7 months have been like for him. Lost his ride in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Put this deal together to go racing with James Finch to try and put his career back together again, to try and have fun.
He's having fun now.
To try and show that he and this race team could be competitive, could win races, and could do so in a style that fans would enjoy.
Larry, Jimmy Johnson's got his hands full right now. That 41 car, he's as good as Johnson right now. I don't know how long he can hang. Long enough to get by, looks like.
Here's Busch.
It's going to be right here.
Kurt Busch to the inside.
I mean, that's a nice move, nice and clean. That 41 is going somewhere, boys.
When Gene Haas hired Kurt Busch, he said, my company name has never been to victory lane on the hood of the car. I want to change that. "21 laps to go." They're slipping and sliding all around Martinsville Speedway, and Kurt Busch is your race leader. Jimmy Johnson, you see how close they are from Johnson's onboard camera, keeping close tabs on the leader. And here's our sprint 20 to go. Traffic moves aside. That was Michael McDowell. Kurt Busch got in a skirmish on pit road early and said on the radio, we're done. Well, if done means we're going to race our butts off and get to the lead, that's what's happened for Kurt Busch.
Right, you see Jimmy Johnson, the car is right in his wheelhouse right now. After about 20, 30 laps, he's been better than everybody else. He's hounding Kurt Busch right now. What Jimmy Johnson's got to be careful of, you don't want to rough up Kurt Busch because he will retaliate if you do.
Waiting to pounce side by side, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joey Logano. Earnhardt had a chance there in traffic. So the lead on the left, the third place battle on the right. We're far from over here at Martinsville.
He nerfed him a little bit right there, and I don't know how Kurt's going to take to that. Let's see what kind of retaliation he gets. Johnson back to the lead. He's been very patient. He let Kurt lead a little bit, uses that 42 car as a pick. Kurt repays the favor with a little bump.
And Johnson's back to the lead.
Too little, too late.
And one thing I do want to add with our sprint 20 to go, if you look at the average lap of the last caution in this race, the last 10 spring races, it comes within 25 to go. And oh, by the way, in the last 4 spring races, we've had 2 green, white checkers.
I just think if I'm Jimmy Johnson, I'd like to get a little gap between me and that 41 car, because if you leave the door open, Kurt's going to come pouncing back through.
Kurt Busch has said he hates losing to Jimmy Johnson more than anybody else. The last time he won a race was at Dover. Who'd he beat? Jimmy Johnson. That's the 32nd lead change of the day. That is a record.
You know, I don't doubt that Kurt said that, but there's about 35 other guys out there that say the same thing every week.
Kurt makes a lunge at him every time, right through the middle of the corner.
And that's where it kind of worries me, because if Jimmy slips a little bit or doesn't get back in the gas quite quick enough, Kurt's going to ram into him. Looking here, looking here. This is close.
Lap car up high, Quapple, single file. Off turn number 4, no change. But all of this monkey motion is allowing the 3rd and 4th place cars to catch the leaders.
No kidding. It's going to get tight up here in the front. But I tell you, we've seen Jimmy Johnson hold off his teammates. We've seen Jimmy Johnson hold off everybody to win at this track.
Right in front of the leaders. Lap cars go side by side. This will stack everything up.
Boy, Kurt Busch got a pretty good run.
Boy, he cut him some. That was smart on Kurt's part. He almost had a run right there, but he backed off. I think Kurt's feeling pretty racy and pretty confident right here that he's got a better car.
He's in there.
Got that fender there. He's there.
Johnson has to give way. And Kurt Busch has the inside as they cross the line with 11 to go.
I think about Jimmy, let him go and get back down in behind him right here. Try to do the crossover move if he can.
At the bumper here. Watch the crossover. 10 to go when you get here. 10 to go.
Dale Jr. has cleared Joey Logano and set sight for the leaders. Logano has to deal with Marcus Ambrose.
Jr. has got a great race car, too.
There you see it. 83 races, October of 2011, since Kurt Busch went to victory lane driving for Roger Penske when he drove the 22 car.
And Larry, look, he's able to just put a little room between him and Jimmy Johnson. All he needs is a little breathing room so he can focus on hitting his lines. Hit your marks.
What a comeback for Kurt Busch, whether he wins this race or not.
You think about Kurt Busch also in that 41 car. The first 4 races this year, he did not even have a top 20 finish. Got that top 5 last week at Auto Club Speedway.
And I asked Rick Hendrick about alliances. I said, do you think that's good for the sport? I said, look what you've done for Tony Stewart. They've won championships. They've won races. You're getting pretty close here to getting outrun by a car that has your engine and all your technology in it.
7 laps to go, and it's 2 car lengths, which here could be 2 miles.
I think the thing, if they get in a little traffic up here, it might help Jimmy Johnson. Otherwise, I believe Kurt's got the better of him right now. He's got a little bit better car.
And Darrell, I think they will catch some traffic here before this thing ends, coming to 6 to go.
Just depends on how it plays out up here. Could work in Jimmy's favor. Well, Kurt got a little loose getting into one that time. Overdrove the corner of Scotia.
But he still got off the corner pretty good right there.
All these cars are free in. A lot of them are free in.
Kurt and Jimmy have finished 1-2 6 times. 4 wins for Johnson, 2 wins for Busch.
You're looking at 2 totally different drivers. Kurt Busch, aggressive. He'll do anything to win. Jimmy Johnson, calculating, sitting here trying to figure out, what have I got to do to get by this cat?
Traffic ahead, double wide. Travis Quapple up high. Reed Sorensen down low. That may resolve itself before the leaders get there, and it does. 4 to go.
I'll tell you, this is going to be, well, they get by the 36 now. That's okay. No problem there. That may be just enough.
Yeah, there'll still be slow cars ahead because Stremme is in the top lane. And if Cole Witt and Bowman get to him, that could clog things up. Passing Flag's getting a workout here.
And Johnson is trying so hard. Where that car's been solid all day up off the corner, she's doing a little waltz with him now. He's in the gas hard trying to catch him.
Yeah, Darrell, the last time off turn 4, he got real loose and gave up a couple of car lanes.
Coming to 2 to go. Stremme up high and out of the way. Not a factor, thank goodness. Busch and Johnson now 2.5 car lengths apart, but still not free of race traffic.
No, but everybody's doing a great job of getting out of their way. They see Kurt coming. They're giving him the room.
White flag in the air for Kurt Busch. Jimmy is 2 car lengths back.
How many races is this? 6. How many winners is this?
It's going to be 6, it looks like.
Back straightaway, final time. Cole Witt ahead. Michael Annett, Jamie McMurray. Johnson is to the back bumper of Kurt Busch. But they power off turn number 4, and the Outlaw wins the battle at Martinsville.
And Stuart Haas. Really, Gene Haas.
I can't believe it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Awesome stuff. I never would have thought after 2 years that have been here.
You just think about the 2 new teams at Stuart Haas. The 4 who dominated Phoenix. Today, the 41. 2 new teams, 2 new winners.
And for the first time ever, after having race teams that go back more than a decade, beginning, I think, with the number 0 and Jack Sprague, Gene Haas will see his company's name, Haas Automation, roll into victory lane for the very first time in a Sprint Cup Series race.
I think this is so valuable for Kurt Busch because of the meltdown he had a little bit there early in the race. Not a meltdown, just kind of a our day's over kind of attitude. This ought to teach him you'd never give up.
And for Kurt Busch, who got knocked down off the top rung of the sport, fought his way back, worked his way back, come back complete.
There's Gene Haas right here. There he is with the headset on. He could not be happier. He took a gamble. He took a chance. And it paid off.
Let me see that white flag
Get
waving.
that white flag in the air, and I'm in the last lap. You can do what you want to. What an awesome day for that team.
Clear track ahead is
White flag right here. White flag. One more good one.
Kurt Busch leads his 290th lap of this race. Kevin Harvick within 1 second. Cuts it down to 9/10 in the back straightaway. Traffic too far ahead to be a factor. And for Gene Haas, Kurt Busch has his 26th Sprint Cup win.
Nice job, everybody.
That 41 car ran like one of those Haas CNC machines today. Flawless.
Great job, Klossmeyer. Everybody, this is a team win. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it, everybody. Unbelievable.
He started the season under suspension for a suspected domestic violence issue, a decision by a Delaware family court when the state's attorney general declined to press charges after being on suspension for 3 weeks. NASCAR reinstated Busch from suspension to redemption to victory lane.
This is when the tears flow. Got to shed a few tears, I bet you, after what he's been through.
Welcome back to the Quicken Loans 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Cars have been brought back to pit road due to rain. 62 laps to go with the red flag out here at Michigan. And there is a severe weather threat for this area. So Kurt Busch is your race leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Martin Truex, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano are your top 5. And boy, every one of those drivers has had an up and down day for one reason or another.
Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, who led the most laps today, has led the most laps this season until he had the flat tire. Remember, he's had 4 straight runner-up finishes here at Michigan. He's finished second 8 times this year. to go with 2 wins as you see Kurt Busch, and now a heavy wave of rain. And listening to some of even Brian Kozlowski, who said, hey, I'm from Michigan. I can't explain these small pockets of rain throughout. Now it's a heavy downpour. And some of the crew chiefs listening in, Michael, they said this time this rain cell actually called by NASCAR on lap 139 of a scheduled 200 laps here. Kurt Busch, his second win of the season as he edges out Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the gambling Kyle Larson and company. And worth pointing out that the Richmond rain we had, remember, moved from a Saturday night race to a Sunday race. Kurt Busch won that earlier this year. He wins the rain-shortened race here in Michigan. And important in the Chase seeding process to get a second or third win. He's only the third multiple winner. Of course, Jimmy Johnson has 4, Kevin Harvick 2. That helps you in that playoff chase.
And we've talked about the other racers that could win races in these last few before the chase starts. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch. There's plenty of guys, Jeff Gordon. So when you're seated ahead of that type of competition heading into that chase for the championship, you got to like your chances.
I was just looking at the 27th career Sprint Cup win for Kurt Busch, 14 with Roush Fenway. You know, you go back, he had 10 with Penske's team, and now this is his third with Stewart-Haas.
Yeah, and that team, that whole Stewart-Haas organization with the laps that Kevin Harvick has led and the performance of that 41 car this season, they're tough. And they'll just get better and better, Chris. Now that Kurt has got a couple of wins, Kevin, the performance he has, look for them to share more information, those 2 cars to be really strong throughout the rest of the year.
The white flag will wave. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
If you run out now, Mike, you can't make it back. You can't coast all the way around this racetrack.
We don't know if he's out of gas because we can't hear the engine.
It's up onto the back straightaway.
I tell you, if he does make it, it's masterful bit of teamwork.
He have to take a lot of credit for making it.
Absolutely.
He really would.
Yeah, what did he say the other day in the pre-race? He's A-. They've been performing well, but not getting the final results. He makes it through this last corner. It's an A+.
I think he's going to make it.
Kozlowski looks high on Earnhardt. For second place, Kurt Busch rounds off the corner.
He made it.
He can make it from here. Kurt Busch wins at Pocono, his 28th Sprint Cup win.
Nice job, crew chief.
Wow. Johnny Klausmeyer.
So proud, so proud. Johnny Gunslinger. Way to go.
Johnny Gunslinger. I like that.
How about that? First time on the box as a crew chief, and you get a win.
He becomes the first driver to win with an interim crew chief.
Did a hell of a job all day.
Since Matt Kenseth at Darlington in 2013.
Thank you, guys. Job well done. Job well done.
Now you've got
a little side draft there.
In that 42, you've got an aggressive young man that might just be willing to push that 78. He's got to run. He's going.
Out of fuel. Out of fuel.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You're kidding me.
Great opportunity for Mark Truex Jr. right here.
Yeah, just flipped it. Let's get back behind.
Now the question is, can the 78 hold these guys off? Can he do it?
2 laps to go.
So it sounds like maybe it just stumbled a little bit. He was able to flip that switch for that reserve. Now it's back running again, but just lost all the momentum.
I think this changed everything. No, I think it changed everything.
Larson. Kyle Larson to the bottom for the lead.
He's going to clear him. Here comes the 41 now with the big run.
Oh, the race is on now, boys. It's anybody's race now.
Wow. Again, I don't like this high line. I just think it gives too many opportunities to get a run and make moves on the inside.
Well, there's a guy right there running second right now that's finished third in this thing 3 times.
The white flag waves. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Yeah, when I think of experience and knowledge here at Daytona, I think of Kurt Busch. He's been so close so many times.
Pushed his teammate to victory here one time. Is anybody going to push him today?
Look at the 21 coming on the inside. He's giving a big push. Where'd he come from?
Ryan Blaney from the back with Logano. Blaney
42's out of gas. 42's out of gas.
Who else is going to run out fuel?
21 is, I'm not so sure. Well, I think he's okay. He's still going.
Now, if the 47 can get up behind the 21, give him a push, he might get there, but I don't know. I think this might be Kurt Busch's day.
Looks like he's going to come home a winner.
Kurt Busch has been the bridesmaid in the Daytona 500. Here they come off turn 4 for the final time. From Las Vegas, the 2004 champion of the series, Kurt Busch, for Gene Haas and Tony Stewart, wins the Daytona 500.
Wow. Wow. First time he's won the 500. What about that?
He pushed his then Penske teammate Ryan Newman to victory, and that's the old man, Tony Gibson.
Justin, are you there?
He's too old to get that excited.
Tony Gibson grew up down the street from Daytona International Speedway and now goes to victory lane.
I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Tony Gibson been in this sport a long, long time. And he's been the best crew chief for Kurt Busch that Kurt could have.
For Kurt Busch, it's his 29th career win. First win in 17 tries in the 500. Matt is with the winning crew chief.
So, Rick, it was decision time. Who is going to come to pit road? Well, Clint Bowyer, Kurt Busch, they stayed on the racetrack. They'll take the front row. Jimmy Johnson, Chris Buescher, row 2, also on old tires. Now it gets a little questionable. Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin took 2 tires only. They'll take row 3. And Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch in row 4 are the first 2 cars with 4 tires. So now what's going to be more important? Clear track or fresh Goodyear rubber? You see everybody's choices. Green flag with 23 to go. It's the night race. I expect some sparks, Rick.
Well, there might be a little bumping and banging because we have seen that already. Intensity has picked up. Bowyer, Kurt Busch making up row 1. Back up through the gears at Bristol.
Kurt Busch with a great restart. He cleared him.
Kurt Busch takes the lead on the restart. 3 wide for 3rd.
Kyle Busch jumps to the outside of that 37 car. Chris Buescher trying to make that 3 wide move himself.
Oh, contact that, and they get through that.
More contact, and we're seeing a little bit of tire smoke out of the 37 of Buescher.
They're still 3 wide. This won't last long.
Those tires on the 11 are helping him hold that top position. And look at this squeeze down the front stretch.
Chris Buescher drops back. After,
Chris Buescher's got a right front tire down.
Well, and a lot of smoke coming out of the 18 as well of Kyle Busch after that contact. Now battle again for the lead. Clint Bowyer on the inside tries to take it back.
Kyle Busch has some trouble. He's got a left rear tire down.
All that contact between those cars, and the tires just can't take that.
Left rear down, he'll have to come back to pit road, trying to find a way to the bottom of the track. Kurt Busch still holding on the top spot. Around goes the 18.
They got the left front on the wall. Yellow.
That brings out the caution. Just 3 laps to go. And I don't want to use the word comfortable, but he's got a big lead right now over 2nd place, Kyle Larson. Less than 45 seconds to go in this race.
2 to go.
2 laps remain. Kurt Busch, with his career in question after 2018, doesn't have a deal for next year. Hasn't won in 58 races. Credit 1 to go. Kurt Busch trying to make sure he's in the playoffs with a win. Kurt Busch has a 6-pack of Monster Energy in Bristol.
Oh, yeah. I'll be right back, guys.
Now you're clear. Good job, driver. Burn it down.
Ah!
6 career wins at Bristol. And a huge one here. Kurt Busch wins in the Monster Energy Cup Series for the first time this year.
You were right. Hell yeah.
There you go, Todd Gordon, not worried and confident in his driver. And I agree with you, Jeff. This is going to be a fantastic restart with two of the best in the business.
Jeff, you heard Adam Stevens mention the one. Well, he's going to line up behind the leader. That top lane should roll.
And those front guys, those front two cars are going to slow each other down. If they stay side by side down into turn one, they are going to side draft and slow each other down, giving that second row and everyone behind them an opportunity to run.
Watch Eric Jones in that 20 car. Can he lay back and get a launch on the 18? Get underneath him, make it 3 wide.
Logano has chosen the outside line. Kyle Busch on the inside. Green flag back in the air. Overtime presented by Credit One Bank. Look at how hard the 18 is going into turn one.
Kurt Busch to the outside.
Kyle Busch gets the lead. Here comes the 20 of Eric Jones. Jones on the inside. He'll try to take the lead as they go down the backstretch.
Kyle side drafted his brother Kurt. That could be all Jones needs. Can he? Oh, look at Kyle Busch drive it down into turn 3.
Can he hold it? 4 wide and into the wall. That was Chase Elliott. Side by side, here comes Kurt Busch. He takes the lead away from his brother. But now, Kyle Busch fighting back. Contact made as they go into one. The Busch brothers, side by side. Tire rub by Kurt Busch. Kyle Busch now fighting on the inside. Once again, Kurt Busch making that outside line work.
What does Jones do here if these two get together?
Coming out of turn 4. Kurt Busch with the advantage. Kyle Busch slides. Kurt Busch will win.
What a finish.
Unreal. That was awesome. Hey, think about this team. Think about what happened to that team last week. So they're leading the race, pitted, lightning came out, then they come back this week and win the race. That is redemption.
And remember, it wasn't many races back when Kurt Busch was trying to catch his brother, and he said, if I caught him, I would have wrecked him for the win. Well, right there, those two fought as cleanly as you can fight for a win. What an incredible battle we just saw between Kurt and Kyle.
Those two had an awesome battle at Bristol earlier this year. I love it when it comes down to those two. They know each other better than anybody.
I was terrified for Kurt that left rear tire had gotten cut when they made contact and wanted to go. A lot of smoke off the left rear quarter panel.
Kurt Busch made the move to Chip Ganassi Racing. Every team he's been a part of, he's made better. And look at the jubilation in that team. Yeah, he'll do a dive right into his team.
Matt McCall. That's Matt McCall on the right side of the screen right there, the center of the screen. His first win as a crew chief. He's a great short track driver himself.
What a fight to the finish, and I'm sure Chevrolet is happy to see this. Their first win here at Kentucky. It's overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. It'll be 2 laps, a sprint to the finish.
Look at Bowman laying back, trying to time it just right. Kurt with another great launch.
He's going to be able to pull down and clear his 21 before they can even get a push up to him.
In the outside lane with no organization with the 88 and the 11 losing spots.
Look at that push though. Oh, the 12 got separated when the 88 got to the right rear of the 12. It separated him from the 21, so he no longer can push.
Here comes Denny with a big push. He's going to push this 88 all the way down the back straightaway. Bowman, why did Bowman not go to the inside there?
There was nowhere to go for Bowman, and now Denny Hamlin fighting for second to the inside of the 21.
They're side
by side. 1 lap to go.
Side by side for second. Kurt's loving this.
Yeah, Kurt Busch needs him to stay side by side. That's what's going to make it work for him.
All right, now that high side, will they get organized down the back straightaway? 88's going to have some momentum here. Who will he help? Or will he go 3 wide?
Here, don't overdrive it, wrap them.
How aggressive will they be through the final turns? DiBenedetto in second. He drifts up the track a bit. Kurt Busch, the 2004 Cup champion, is going to win in his hometown. Busch wins in Vegas.
Kurt Busch.
Good job, man. Good job, man.
Started his career. Oh, look at his brother. The two celebrating together here at Las Vegas.
Hometown hero.
Oh my God, I'm a lady. I'm a lady.
Guys, think about the consequences of Kurt Busch winning this race. He came into this point, into this 12th. So that's a car down at the bottom, right, that is going to put a ton of pressure on more drivers trying to make this next round. The first surprise win in these playoffs right here.
He spelled out Las Vegas for us with the checkered flag.
Matt McCall is crew chief, running 13th before Matt McCall ran that pit strategy, running long, caught the yellow. Just a great call, a great car, and then his veteran driver. Track position is one thing, but he had battles galore, and he held them all off.
Dylan, as we go through the field, we find Martin Truex Jr. in the 4th position, and it could be back-to-back top 10s for that race team, and the 3rd today. So he's only had 2 top 10s since he finished the win at Darlington. So Truex could get a much-needed run. And remember, they've come through the field 3 times today, so Truex up in 4th. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick said it took off great on this run and doing, as we mentioned earlier, everything he needs to do to be in the playoffs. Last week, they gained the most points. Today, here at Atlanta, it looks like they'll gain the 5th most points. The battle for the lead heating up, though, Rick.
So the 42 car is now taking that high side, trying to take the line away from the 18, and look at what it does. The 1 car, Kurt Busch, drives right up to the inside of the 18. Kyle Busch off turn 4, a battle for the lead.
Door to door as they raced into turn 1, and we knew lap traffic was going to come into play.
A little contact.
Oh, side by side. Kyle trying to take the air off of Kurt.
He doesn't want to take too much off. He doesn't want him sliding up the racetrack into him.
This right here is where Kurt, if he can keep to that left rear quarter panel, he'll have an advantage, but there's a lap car in front of him on the bottom. Where does the lap car go? That's where Kurt wants the bottom of 3 and 4. He will clear his brother here.
Kurt Busch back out in front in Atlanta.
Back your marks, race the track.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. The final time on this surface at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kurt Busch looking for his 33rd career win, which would tie him with Fireball Roberts for 25th all-time in wins in the Cup Series. Fireball Roberts has won at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And now, out of 4 for the final time, Kurt Busch is going to win the brother duel. He wins in Atlanta.
That's the key mark. Yes, that's how you do it. Way to go, guys. Woo! Go, Ross Chastain. Love you, buddy.
Gave his teammate Chastain.
Good job, big group. Excellent job today, boys.
Gave him a shout out.
And Kurt Busch is locked into the playoffs.
Ross made that happen, man. Shake it back, buddy. Shake it back.
Kurt Busch, at 42 years old, is still on top of his game. He is, we've said it before, everywhere he goes, he makes it better.
I can't believe the career this guy's had. Ups and downs, the growth, the personal change. And he has shook up the playoffs. He seems to have a habit of doing that.
Boy, Clint, Larson is searching. He's right against the wall 1 lap, and a couple of laps he'll exit a little bit lower. I think Kurt Busch has a faster car right now. Larson's just trying to put his car in the best position he can to hope that he doesn't give Kurt the air that he needs.
You bring up a good point, and with him searching, that makes Kurt Busch search too. He moves his line down, not running a consistent line, gets you, scratching your head of where you can find grip in your car in the wake of him.
Well, you can hear Kurt Busch's throttle there. A lot of wide open throttle around this track. When they run the top, they're obviously lifting a little bit early so they can get the front to take a set. But look at Kurt's steering wheel right here. Super smooth. Look at the focus in his eyes.
16 on tires, 16, 17 to go.
One thing that I've noticed.
Now there's the telemetry of both of the leaders.
There you go. See the throttle, trying to get it back as soon as possible. You get to that throttle.
Well, and looking at Kurt's steering wheel, it tells me just a little bit tight. You see him working the throttle, but no movement in the wheel.
That's what I was going to say, and I started looking at the throttle. But it's the way he indexes his wheel is definitely drastically different than I've seen most people.
Absolutely. I always wanted, where you see the spokes, I wanted my thumbs in those two areas.
Right.
He's got his spokes straight up.
I think you got to be careful with this rack and pinion steering. As you see, he has his thumb in there. If you hit the wall or something, you got to get that pulled back, and he knows that.
Push to the
look
bottom.
at these dive bombs. He's wanting it. He can get a little bit gain on him getting in, but he loses it up off.
Yeah, he's needing Larson to make a mistake.
He's going to get 77, about 15 in front of you.
So they're referencing the lap cars there because that's the one thing that can really change the game. They catch lap cars. I don't think Larson can run anywhere but right against the wall. I don't think he's fast enough. I don't think his car handles well enough on the bottom.
But he has to, and he takes that line away, that preferred line away from Kurt. That's exactly where Kurt wants to be. You see him moving down. Now see how he moved down, crosses the wake in front of him.
You hear Kurt and you check up out of the throttle right there.
Yep, gets tied up off in that wake, and Kyle knows that. Larson's doing that on purpose, trying to make him tight in the wake. And I think it's working. Starting to lose lap time. 43 to a 67 the last time. Kyle Busch now running him down at a 48. Really the only where on the racetrack I can see that he gains on him a little bit is getting into 3, but you can see Kurt getting tighter and tighter.
Well, in a really bad exit right there for the 45 car. It looked like he ran a little bit lower, got tight on exit. See, Kyle was able to get away from him. But look at the lap cars up ahead, Clint. You got 2 or 3 guys right there running in the lane that Kyle Larson needs to be in. To me, we're going to see what Larson has right now. Can he pass those guys on the bottom if they don't give him the top? I would be screaming at my spotter right now. Get to those guys. I'm leading this race. Tell them I need the top of the track.
Kyle Larson dominated this race last year, but it was Kyle Busch who went to victory lane.
Hey, what lap is this of this run, Larry? What do you got?
Well, we are at 21 laps now, 22. We've got 11 to go. So right there, we're in that threshold of all these tire issues, left rear tire issues that we've seen. Can they go another 11 or 12 laps?
And I'd say every crew chief on the box knows that trend's alive and is sitting there holding their breath.
And once again, Kurt Busch is there. He's a car length, maybe 2 off the bumper of Larson as they exit 4 and come to 10 to go.
I love watching Larson, Clint. He's putting his car, if he sees Kurt Busch exiting a little bit lower, Larson automatically is putting his car down there, trying to get him tight on the exit of the corner. Larson had a really bad turns, exited 2 this last corner, allowed Kurt Busch to catch up to him. Look at that, he's got 3 more lap cars that he's got to deal with. The one thing I noticed is that Chase Elliott, Eric Amarola, they gave the leaders the preferred line around the top of the track when they caught him.
And that's what Eric Jones will do right here.
Made it a little bit of adjustment. Kurt moved down a little bit more. Had a really good 3 and 4, getting closer to the bumper of the 5.
Chris Buescher, next lap car ahead, and Busch looks to the inside, and Larson got way up close to the wall, right in the middle of 1 and 2.
Sure did. Larson had to get out of it a little bit. Now he's door to door with them. Can he do a slide job?
17 dropped way low. Outside 5.
See, Larson drives in right on his door.
Larson got loose.
Entered a little bit lower than what he wants to. Made Kurt Busch have to get out of the gas, exiting a little bit tighter right there, Clint.
One more lap car.
Room out, outside.
Yep, J.J.
Kurt's
Yadel drops to the bottom,
shoot
out of the
across
way.
there. Is he clear up? No.
Oh!
Larson's in the wall.
Kurt tried to close the gap. Kyle gets into the outside of the wall.
Takes it. Kurt Busch to the lead.
Must be the shoes and that paint scheme. Here's another look.
You see him trying to, man, he wants to hear a clear eye.
But he didn't hear it, and so he didn't slide all the way up.
Slide up, but the 5 was committed. He had to get to the gas and stay to his outside. Got in the wall, a little bit loose. Back in, I think that's 6 times now. I hear you.
Here's the 5.
45 just put us in the fence. No, he did. 10-4. I'll get here.
Larson might be the fairest driver in the field.
And that's right. You know, I agree with him. I don't think Kurt did.
Kurt
put pressure on him.
Kurt tried to leave a little bit of room there.
And
Totally.
put the pressure on him, gave him a lane. Kyle throttled up and tried to keep to his outside as he needed to do. And I feel like his car is getting free, just like it has every run. And, you know, unfortunately got in the wall. But I don't know that it might not be over yet.
1 lap car on the bottom, 2 up high.
Slow, catches 2 top, 5 apart. This is the white flag. 1 more lap.
Brought to you by Credit One Bank. The white flag, that is.
Well, it's official. Just get this thing limped around there, Kurt.
Team 2311.
Pick for my ones to walk. Who was that?
Well, I mean, you always take the low-hanging fruit, Clint. I mean, come on.
This team formed by Denny Hamlin in a conversation with Michael Jordan. What if we go racing? Toyota jumped on board. With Bubba Wallace, they became a 2-car team. And here comes Kurt Busch to deliver the jump man the victory.
Hell yeah, man. You are the best.
Them boys earned it today.
Yes.
Brought a fast hot rod. Brought a champion in that seat, and he got the job done. This is going to be a big celebration. You're going to see this cat be happy, happy.
Kyle Larson 1.3 back. Kyle Busch 1.9. That breaks Kurt Busch's string. In 3 of his last 4 wins, a driver named Kyle finished second.
Got to spin Michael McDowell off of 4. Kept it out of the wall.
Hey, pole sitter Christopher Bell gives him a victory nudge, and 23-11 gets both the win and a top 10 finish for Bubba Wallace. Larson
So proud
second.
of you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Kyle Busch third. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex, 5 Toyotas in the first 6 spots. Chastain 7th, Stenhouse 8th, Bowman and Wallace complete the top 10.
I'm going to go buy me some Jordans when I get home with that paint scheme.
It's the 34th career win, 24th on the all-time list, breaking a tie with Fireball Roberts for Kurt Busch. The last one 27 starts ago in Atlanta, July of last year. He's the 11th different driver to win this season, and it is the 18th different track he's won on, and his 19th different season with a victory. He's now won with 5 different teams and 4 different manufacturers.
Sure has. Doesn't matter what kind of car you put him in, what kind of situation, that boy can get the job done.
No, and you know, we talked about the ups and downs of teams this year with Logano. It's the same thing for Kurt and all of 2311. A lot more downs, but this should get them back on track. And obviously with Toyota being as strong as they were today, next few races are going to be tough.
Well, he started the weekend talking to Jamie Little about the origins of the umbrella. Maybe now, Jamie, he can give a dissertation on the origins of the checkered flag, because he's got one. Jamie.
That is one thing he is familiar with. 33 tries. Kurt Busch finally gets that first victory at Kansas Speedway. And Kurt, the year you guys have had joining this team, the ups and downs, how did you guys come out and dominate the way you did to get this first victory?
It's all about teamwork. I mean, I don't do this alone. And the way that Toyota's helped us, JGR, my little brother has been so important just on the family side of, hey, you got to get through these steps. Bubba's a tremendous teammate, but this is 23-11. This is our first win for the 45 car. And with Jordan Brand on the hood, I mean, I felt like I had to play like the GOAT, or race like the GOAT, and I had to beat Kyle's. I had to beat both. This was like the Kyle and Kyle show. I remember Ned Jarrett said this is the Dale and Dale show. Like, I can get one Kyle, and I'm like, I can get both. I just had to have the confidence to know, and our setup would do things on short run and long run. But thanks to Jordan Brand, Toyota, Monster Energy, McDonald's, Moneyline, just all the team partners of this 23-11. This 45 car's the winner now.
Kurt, you've been doing this. You've been in this game a long time, and Mike Joy mentioned it, the number of different teams you've done it with. What is it like joining a team like this that's so new and being able to get you right here? What does that take?
It's the most gratifying to work from the ground up with a brand new car number. And yes, I've been with a lot of teams, a lot of manufacturers. Now this is the check off the Toyota box, but it's about family. I love my family at home. I love my KBI employees and everybody at 2311. This is for us. This is what the hard work is all about. No matter if you lose a couple spots on pit road, no matter if our car was a basket or whatever to start, I'm going to go find Toto because I'm in Kansas. I'm loving it.
Toto, we are in Kansas. That's where Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane is, and that's where Kurt Busch is headed to join these drivers as 2022 winners.